Welcome to The Explainer. We are going to talk about a hidden tax that is quietly adding to the cost of, well, just about everything. Your groceries, your car, your clothes. Let's get right into what it is and what it really means for your money.
Okay, this is the number I want you to remember. $570. Now, this isn't just a random number. According to researchers over at Yale University, that's what tariffs are directly costing the average American household this year alone.
And here's the tricky part. You'll never actually see this on a receipt. It's not some separate fee or a tax line item. It's just baked right into the price of almost everything you buy, completely invisible.
So it begs the question, right? Where is all this money going? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what this hidden tax is, how it works, and, the most important part, what you can actually do about it.
Okay, let's really dive into this $570 figure. We're going to look at exactly where it comes from and also why it's a bit lower than some of the earlier estimates you might have heard floating around.
So yeah, $570 is a pretty big hit to any family's budget for sure. But believe it or not, it's actually way down from its peak. I mean, at one point, the cost was estimated to be as high as $1,500 per household. We'll get into why that number dropped so much in just a little bit.
All right, before we go any further, let's just nail down the basics, because understanding this one concept is absolutely key to everything else we're going to talk about today.
So a tariff is really just a tax. That's it. But it's a very specific kind of tax. It's what the U.S. government charges on products that are made in other countries and then brought here to the United States to be sold.
So, how does this tax actually get from the government to your wallet? Well, think of it like this. A car company that imports steel to build its cars gets hit with this tax. Now, they're not just going to eat that cost, right? No way. They pass it on by raising the price of the car. So in the end, you're the one paying more at the dealership, and you probably don't even realize why.
So even though that $570 number is the average, the impact isn't the same for everyone. Not even close. It really, really depends on your income and, frankly, what you tend to spend your money on.
And this right here perfectly illustrates why economists call tariffs regressive. I mean, check it out. For a family making $45,000 a year, that $570 is more than 1% of their total income. But for a household earning a lot more, say $250,000, it's just a tiny fraction of a percent. The dollar cost is the same, but the actual pain is completely different.
So, where are you going to feel this pinch the most? Well, as you can see, it's on big-ticket items like cars and electronics for sure, but it's also on your everyday stuff, from groceries to clothes. You're literally paying more for everything, from the steel in your car and the components in your phone to your morning coffee and the lumber for a home project.
Okay, now, here's where the story takes a huge turn. A major legal development in early 2026 just completely changed the entire landscape of this issue.
So in February of 2026, the Supreme Court basically struck down the legal foundation for most of the tariffs that were in place. They said it was an unconstitutional overreach of power. But, and this is a big but, that wasn't the end of the story. Almost immediately, a brand new, flat 10% tariff was put on all imports, just under a different legal authority. And then, shortly after that, the rate got bumped up to 15%. So one set of tariffs vanished, only to be replaced by another, creating this whole new wave of economic uncertainty.
Okay, so look, you can't control trade policy. You can't. But what you absolutely can control is how your own household responds to it. So let's get into some real, concrete things you can do right now.
And these steps are more critical than ever because, let's be honest, these tariff costs are hitting households that are already feeling stretched pretty thin. More than half of adults in the U.S. worry about money every single day. A third have literally lost sleep over it.
All right, here's the playbook. Number 1, buy American-made goods when you can. It's the most direct way to just sidestep these import taxes. 2, think about delaying any big purchases you don't absolutely need right now, like a new car. 3, buy essentials in bulk. That helps you lock in prices before they go up even more. 4, audit your subscriptions. I mean, every single dollar counts. 5, focus on growing your income, not taking on more debt. And finally, number 6, and this is maybe the most important, make sure that emergency fund is full. It is your absolute best defense against this kind of economic uncertainty.
So what's the road ahead look like? What can we expect for the rest of this year and into next year? Let's take a quick look at the forecast.
Well, the analysts over at Morningstar think the economy is going to slow down toward the end of this year. But then they expect it to start picking back up in 2027 as the economy kind of adjusts and that initial shock from these new tariffs starts to fade. So, yeah, it points to a bumpy road ahead,
but there is an expectation of recovery. And really, this is the key takeaway for right now. If there's one word for 2026, it's uncertainty. And that just makes financial preparedness, having that strong emergency fund, keeping your debt low, more important than it has been in a very, very long time.
Look, you didn't create this whole situation, but you absolutely have the power to shield your finances from the worst of it. It's all about knowing where the costs are coming from, making smarter decisions, and just building a really strong financial foundation. Because that's how you win, no matter what happens in the global economy.